My name is Ted Josiah from Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa. If you don't know where that is, then you haven't been on a safari. And you better find a way to come to a safari in Kenya. Karibuni, we say welcome.
If the innovations don't transform lives, then there's no need for you to innovate. Money is not the key thing. It comes as a byproduct.
Kenyáról nem a startup az első dolog, ami az ember eszébe jut, azonban az utóbbi években hatalmas fejlődésen ment keresztül az iparág. A helyiek által Silicon Savannának nevezett ökoszisztéma számtalan gazellát, azaz gyorsan fejlődő innovatív céget termelt ki, mi pedig most azért látogattunk az ország fővárosába, Nairobiba, hogy kiderítsük, valóban ennyire pezsgő az üzleti élet. Mögöttünk a város egyik emblematikus épülete, a kongresszusi központ látható, ahol a legtöbb üzleti tárgyalást folytatják a helyiek.
Hi Stefan.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Fine, Karibu. So this is my home. Yeah. So let me take you around.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna show you one kind of a farm you haven't seen before. I'm a farmer, but also being a farmer, I'm also a software developer. Knowing when they're giving birth was really critical, so I had to develop some sort of information system to just track everything. I developed an initial app. It's called RabbitIQ. The rabbit sends you a tweet, hey, I'm giving birth today. I need more food, I need some water, and I need you to look at the whole process to make sure everything is just fine. So that is what RabbitIQ essentially does. Somehow, some farmers in Uganda started using our system. 3 farmers from Zimbabwe got to know about us. I don't know how. I think it's just the internet.
Just also the nature of our population is that there are very many young people. I think the last statistics are like under 24 people. The people under the age of 24 are roughly 62% of the population. So the number of jobs that are there are simply not enough to absorb the people that are produced through the educational system. So it's almost like by default, people have to think about starting their own business. We have our own unique problems, unique local problems. For you to come up with the solutions to those problems, and some of those problems are not just unique to Kenya, they're unique to maybe many people in the developing world.
Most guys are in the bracket of 25,000 to 75,000 earning bracket. What really pays people very well is the technology sector. Normal service banking sector pays well.
Kenya Kelet-Afrika regionális központja, melynek gazdasági erejét jól mutatja, hogy Kelet- és Közép-Afrikában itt a legnagyobb a termelt GDP. Az ország hazánknál 6-szor nagyobb területű, ahol mintegy 43 millió ember él. A két hivatalos nyelv az angol és a szuahéli, de köszönhetően a törzsi sokszínűségnek közel 70 nyelvet beszélnek.
From 2003 onwards, that's when we started having ICT as an enabler in government, in different companies coming together and stuff. And that's when you get the hubs like iHub, the Nile Hub coming up. But if you look at it critically, they were started a long time ago in the universities. The problem was, how do you merge academia and industry? So, you know, an engineer will do something in the lab, nobody publicizes it, so you'll never know about it. So iHub came to a place where it's a forum where you can be able to come to an idea and be able to talk about things.
It's 5 years, almost 6 years now, things have changed. Back then, even just having such a space, even just having the access to internet and tools and software that we have right now, that wasn't there then, not in the same level at least. Right now, some of those things are they're very basic. Everyone can now access the internet from their home.
This is around rush hour. Everybody's closing their workplaces. They are on their way home. Now these guys are lining up waiting to go to Thika.
Yeah.
There's no passage, yeah? We just have to jump from there. On a weekend, yes, you'll find like half the cities in town having fun. Some are dancing, some are drinking.
Leo hakuna kulala, maka muzika makawa, nina chapa inalala, tamu kama maziwa mala. Leo hakuna kulala, maka muzika makawa, nina chapa inalala, tamu kama maziwa mala.
Tingisha, bingirisha, kisha, tingisha, bingirisha, kisha, kizaza, kizaza, ukicheza, kizaza, kizaza, ukicheza, uwa, wanimaliza, wanitatiza, wanichokoza.
I'm a music producer and a video producer based in East Africa. And I've been doing this for about 26 odd years. Months ago, I reinvented myself and created a new record label called SWR&B Records, which is Swahili R&B, that fusion of Swahili and R&B, you know, that soulful sound meeting the African language, the spicy African language called Swahili. If you don't know Swahili, you have to learn Swahili because it's really the only way that you're gonna get a girl if you come to Kenya. We decided, let's create a different business model. Let's create a brand that is sellable. Not necessarily an artist, but a brand. So the record label has become a brand that is sellable. And through the sales of merchandise, we then get revenue to be able to invest back into the artists.
So tumepitia mitiani mingi sana.
He's saying that since childhood they were in a poor environment in Bamburu, Mombasa, and they struggled and they had a lot of challenges as they were growing up. Probably food was sometimes a problem, sometimes they were not unable to, you know, even have basic medical care. But he himself has persevered and he knew he has talent and he started singing when he was 14.
Yeah.
The person from Kenya who won the recent gold medal in throwing javelin was a young man, not even from Nairobi, from the village, who all he had was a smartphone, and he learned how to throw the javelin using YouTube. You know, he would just go do the tutorial. Oh, this is how you throw it. Try, to the point that he actually now is a world recognized athlete.
Oh, he's really chucked himself at that. Oh, hello.
You know, so we look at these devices and look at these applications and we don't know that they can impact our lives directly. They can have a very positive impact, and we need, as musicians and also just entrepreneurs who have an entrepreneurial spirit, to tap into what the World Wide Web can offer us in terms of how to, because once you know how to, you then go to I can.
For us, a big reason why we are in Africa, why we're in Nairobi, really is we want to be able to take the innovation that's born here to the rest of the world. Through my own experiences here, I found that there are lots of fantastic innovations, lots of great young entrepreneurs with products that could quite easily fit in Vietnam or in Indonesia or even in Peru. But I think it's very undiscovered. I think people often write it off as a source of solutions. I think people often see it as a source of problems, a source of war, a source of poverty, but really out of all of that, you're seeing some really, really neat solutions come through.
This project is called Plastisynth, and it is a composite material that is made from water hyacinth and plastic. That is Nairobi Dam. It is completely submerged, and plastics, they are a very big problem. So this is the dried water hyacinth and crushed, and this is the dried plastic and crushed. So this and this is what we mix up at a particular ratio, totally design work, to come up with this material that is used for all interior housing purposes, roofing, staircase cover, flooring, and demountable panels.
This Tech Expo is about a student forum where students showcase the innovations to the world. That was meant to achieve the innovation culture, because if people are never innovative, then we will never have solutions. If you don't have solutions, we don't have enterprises. If you don't have enterprises, therefore not building the economy.
This is a flying doctor. Basically, it's a hybrid vehicle that is capable of doing aerial and land locomotion. We are able to deploy a defibrillator, adrenaline, to the point of need, and through a live audio-visual feedback, there's a camera at the front. We are able to guide the person who is there on how to use the components that are there in order to help the victim. We find out that, especially in Nairobi, there is the traffic jam is
Believe it.
yeah. So by the time the emergency arrives, it's too late.
In Nairobi, when there's traffic, it means the vehicle are not moving for at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. The city center is about less than 100 meters away from here, but we might end up spending 30 minutes. We have 1.2 million personal cars, yet the city can accommodate about 500,000. So the number of vehicles, personal vehicles, are twice as much as the city can accommodate. The public transport vehicles are only 30,000. Nairobi is also very funny. We do have a traffic police. As you can see ahead of us here, we have a traffic police officer trying to control traffic, but you'll find them also in places where there are traffic lights. So if you come to Nairobi and then you want to follow traffic lights, please do not. It's not the lights that control traffic in this particular country. This is our biggest bus station. This is where most people pick their matatus or buses back home. So to help you not to go to the market, you can have your shopping here.
I see.
Yeah, there's even the corn. You can see that child over there is selling some maize. Most people rent. Most of that money goes to the rent, because you find that a typical one-bedroom house it depends on the estate, but on average I will say a typical one-bedroom house will want you to pay 15,000 shillings.
This is my second startup. I started the first startup when I was in campus, and it didn't go very well. We failed gracefully. So we started the company back in 2014, after campus, when we tried finding houses with my co-founder. We walked around Nairobi, in specifically Westlands Estate, and tried checking out some of the houses there. We would find that they were rented out by agencies. Not agencies per se, agents who will demand so much money upfront to be able to even view the houses. So we realized that there should be a better way to be able to find houses in Nairobi.
Hi guys, how are you?
Fine.
Like, okay, it depends. If you come and then you don't find something that doesn't please you, you can say some changes and then we do some changes for you.
What changes can you do?
Like, okay, if you complain about the bed, maybe the TV is small, we can replace it.
So you'll replace it?
Yeah. Because you want it furnished. So we expect you to come and find everything that you want. Yeah. The only thing we can't change is your clothes, because you come with your own clothing.
Our users these are the people who are between the ages of 21 to around 40 years. For startup offices in Nairobi are really expensive. You can hardly afford an office in Nairobi. That's why most startups in their early stages end up working from home.
The companies that we host are mostly tech companies. I mean, they're mostly startups or small businesses. We actually have quite a lot of companies that are starting up here in Kenya. For instance, like companies coming from overseas. And I mean, it is very difficult to actually start something here in Kenya. I mean, to actually set up the office or to just get a pin or something.
I think the expectation on the rate of return here is actually significantly higher than what we would need to see in our other markets, purely because the risk of investing is so much higher. The key of investing here also is that we would end up investing significantly smaller ticket sizes, and I think that's also a reflection of what the market requires. I speak to a lot of founders every day, and I certainly think that traditional startup investors who come in and want to invest 100,000 or 200,000 find that there aren't a lot of startups that can actually absorb that capital and utilize it efficiently.
If you have to deal with a problem here, Kenyans will deal with it completely differently than Europeans or Americans, or just they don't stress. Life is good, everything is good.
This is Kibera slum. It is found in the heart of Nairobi.